welcome to the episode 21 of the Help Me to Parent Facebook Live Coffee Morning. Hope everybody is well. Hello to everybody on Facebook, obviously, and hello to everyone on YouTube and on the Lima app. I hope you are all keeping well. I had a nice week off last week. I had a few days in London seeing some friends, which was great. London's a great city, so we had a good time. So today we're going to be covering a couple of big enough topics that can really stress people out, and I suppose I want to kind of make it as practical as possible. So hopefully you guys can kind of get some good tips that will actually have a real impact on your kids and I suppose family life at home. I suppose before we do get started, I did want to kind of discuss with you about two courses we have coming up in Dublin. They're two one-day courses. We have a parenting program, which is a general parenting program covering a number of different parenting topics. We're going to cover things like dealing with conflict, how to set realistic boundaries. We're also going to discuss communication, which is the really important one, but other things that people bring up as well on the day. That's on the 7th of July in Dublin. So if anyone is interested in attending, just let me know and we can get you sorted and booked onto that. And on the same day, we have a Parenting After Separation or Divorce program, which is also looking at your parenting skills, but how you can do that when you're separated. So both of those are on the 7th of July. As I say, if anyone's interested, please do let me know and we'll get you booked on. It's a good, fun course. It's done in a very relaxed way, but it's also very practical. Like any of the stuff we do in Help Me to Parent, it's all very much about trying to get you guys changing little things so that it's not like a crash diet. It's just changing how things work ever so slightly at home in order to make things work better for everybody. So let us know. Which leads us very nicely on to our first question. But I do want to say thank you to Lisa for my You'll Never Walk Alone mug. It's much appreciated. So thank you, Lisa. Right, let's get cracking. Myself and my ex-husband just can't seem to get along. I'm really hurt as he had an affair and he tries to make it out that it was the way I treated him that pushed him away. I'm really worried that this is impacting on our 8-year-old daughter, who has become really quiet and withdrawn. I tried to talk to my ex about it, but he just dismisses it as a normal kid stuff. Is there anything I can do to support her and get her to come back out of her shell? Well, that would be a very worrying position for any parent, whether you're separated or you're together. But what I will say is that sometimes what we find is that when there is a separation and where there has been an affair or there's acrimony between the parents with the split, that sometimes the anger and frustration for the other person overrides the love of the children. It's not anything that anybody does on purpose. It's just one of those situations that seems to manifest itself quite regularly. So the first thing I'd say is that the difficulty that you have with your ex-husband is something that you need to look to resolve within yourself. The affair can't change, unfortunately. The way you've been treated can't be changed, unfortunately. And, obviously the way he feels about the relationship breakup, for right or for wrong, can't be changed either. But what is most important is that you guys get some sort of stability and some sort of foundation that you can work from in order for your child to feel safe. And I think that's one of the big things that we always need to remember. When parents separate, kids can feel a raft of emotions. They can feel guilt, they can feel sadness, they can feel hurt, they can feel relief if there's been arguments or disagreements going on. So it's really important that we start to look at how can we give them that solid foundation, even if we're struggling ourselves. And I will always say to people, if you are struggling emotionally with the breakup or with work or whatever might be going on, different stresses, go get some professional help. It's important. And the money, some people will be put off by the money, but the money that you will pay is well worth your mental health, because you're better able to cope with the day-to-day stresses and you're better able to deal with things. So do go and speak to somebody. Now, I would say the same for your daughter. If you're noticing significant changes in her behaviour. Maybe she needs to go and see somebody, but ideally what you can do is start to work with her to try and see, well, can I put the things in place so that she can feel that safety and security? Now, you can't do anything about your ex. You can't do anything about how he parents. You can't do anything about what he does with your daughter when they're together. And that can be very frustrating, because in a lot of cases what can happen is you can have, say, the kid staying with mum all week, and mum has to deal with homework, has to deal with school, has to deal with getting up out of bed on time for school, and then they go to see dad at the weekend, and it's all fun, activities, great time, and it can feel like there's a disproportionate balance in terms of the discipline and the looking after the children. So you need to try and settle yourself that, okay, well, it is what it is. So unless your partner is going to sit down with you and you can both go to mediation, or you can both go and do a parenting after separation course together, where you can work together. And I do see that regularly, where parents who are separated do put all that stuff aside, and they can come together to work for the betterment of the children. So maybe suggest it. If he's not open to it, you can't do anything about how he parents, unless you're obviously worried about your child's safety. But it doesn't sound like that's an issue. So what I'd say is maybe start to focus on what can you do to support your child. So you've said that she's become withdrawn. She could be worried about your interactions together. So it doesn't always have to be shouting and roaring that upsets children. Sometimes we can be annoyed and frustrated, and the reality is that what people take on board is only 7% what we say. It's 38% tone of voice and 55% body language. So even if we're being abrupt and abrasive with the child's other parent, they can pick up on that. They can pick up on tension, and they can sometimes feel like, I don't know why I'm feeling this way. I don't know why I feel uncomfortable, or why I feel maybe unsettled, but I do. And that can cause them to take a step back. So she may be trying to protect herself, because if she doesn't rock the boat, well, then that gives you guys less chances of having arguments or disagreements. So it's really important that you guys start to address the fact that maybe she's trying to look after us. Maybe she's trying to just look after herself and protect herself. So one of the suggestions I've probably mentioned in the previous ones, get a little notebook. Get a little about how you're doing, and ask her, how is she doing? Because when there's face to face, like most parents will say to me, the most conversation I get out of my child is when they are in the car, or where we are baking bread, or whatever it might be. So it's when the focus isn't on the child that they really start to open up. But if you get a little notebook and she can write down about what's going on for her, if she wants to, there's no pressure, that can be really helpful, because it gives her time to process what's going on and think about what it is that she wants to write down. Now, she might not say anything. She might just say, I'm fine, I don't want to do it. And maybe that's okay, but keep giving her the opportunity to talk if she wants. And then you can look at spending some fun time together. Maybe you can look at doing the fun things together and look at her interests. Maybe you're seeing her when she's going to bed and she's tired, and maybe she's a bit emotional, or maybe she's not necessarily wanting to go outside with her friends, but kick her out. Put her out, tell her to go and play with her friends. And I guarantee within 2 or 3 minutes, there's a good chance you're going to see her running around, laughing, having some fun. So she may not have to get up and go out herself, but by you saying, no more screen time, no more house time, go play with your friends, she may be annoyed, she may be upset, she may be disappointed, but I guarantee you, pretty quickly, she's going to be having so much fun with her friends. If that is the case for you, where you do have friends living close by. And the other thing I would say to you is, look at how you do what you do. Because if you are talking about dad, or if you, a lot of the times you'll try and support the child, but sometimes you need to look after yourself and look at, How am I dealing with this? Am I having conversations around her that maybe she doesn't need to hear about dad? Is she overhearing telephone conversations? Maybe you can write a commitment letter to your child to let her know that she had nothing to do with the breakup, that you guys have worked out the details that you need to work out in order, the financial side of things, the school side of things, and let her know that you're going to make her world as calm as possible. Now, people might say, but she's 8. But a letter is something that she can hold on to and she can pick up and take and read in those moments when she's feeling maybe a bit less secure or a bit less safe within herself. And maybe your husband or your ex-husband could do the same. It may be a thing that you can do together. Hopefully it is, because that way it'll feel more genuine for her that you're both actually doing this and taking care of her and recognizing her. It's a very tough situation, and it is something that's very difficult, especially when you're getting resistance from the other side. But all you can do is deal with what you can deal with. You can't make him do anything, but what you can do is try and support her. So get your notebook out, write your commitment letter, kick her out to have some fun with her friends. And if you don't have friends living in the vicinity, go to a play area or get her involved in sports or clubs, whatever it might be. Get her out. She's going to be okay. She is going to be okay. But if you're really, really worried, do get professional help. Give me a shout if you need to. We can explore. I can make some recommendations if need be for people who may be able to work with you or work with her. I hope that helps. And it's, it is a tough situation. All right. Let's go down in age. So, toddlers. My young toddler won't eat any vegetables at all. This is really concerning for me and my wife. We've tried lots of different ways, but she doesn't seem interested at all. Any advice? It's interesting that when this question came in, it got me thinking about one of my own children, and at one point thinking, she's never going to drink water. She just did not like it when she was a kid. She just would not drink it as a baby. And I remember sitting down and thinking to myself, she's just never going to drink water. It's never going to happen. Now I can't stop her. She just drinks water all the time. So what I'd say to you is, try and look at how you're introducing it, but look at yourself. So kids pick up on tension. So if we're worried about or concerned about whether or not she's going to give it, and we're kind of nearly tentatively giving over the food, they're going to pick up on it. If they don't eat it, they don't eat it. What you may find is when they go to other people's houses, they may eat stuff. But for you, it can seem like, why won't they just eat for me? We're her parents. We should be able to get her to do this. But that's okay. Most kids are going to be all right. They're going to get enough nutrition in their diets if you are cooking meals, if you are making sure that everything else around them is as best as possible, that they're getting nutrition. Now, everyone will say, oh, but we need to be making sure they're getting 5 a day. Yeah, but sometimes the stress is more damaging that you're putting on yourself and putting on your kids than if they only have one of their 5 a day. Like, it's not ideal, but your child isn't going to waste away. They're going to be okay. And I think that's something that we need to get across to a lot of parents. We put so much pressure on ourselves because there's so much information out there. There's so many books telling us to do this, that, and the other as parents. You get parenting experts sitting telling you what to do. There is so much information out there that sometimes what we need to do is just take that step back and trust that what we're doing in any given moment is the best that we can do. And that's okay. Most kids are going to turn out all right as long as we're putting boundaries in place for them so that they can stop. They know that someone's going to stop them from going too far. So then you can look at the practical things. Look at whizzing up all the fruit and veg that you want in sauces. And if your kid likes pasta with some sauce, put it in. It is amazing how much kids will eat when there is a sauce there that is flavoursome. And you may have tried this already, and if you have, that's okay. The other thing is our tastes change. I'm eating things now that I would have never eaten as a 18, 19, 20-year-old because our tastes change. So try not to catastrophize things in your head, because that's what sometimes we do, is we think, right, well, if they don't eat vegetables now, they're never going to do it. I did it myself. My daughter wasn't going to drink water. She's never going to drink water. Take the pressure off yourself. She's going to be okay. Look at maybe, doing little kind of shavings of carrots or whatever it might be, and see how they get on with that. What I'd say is go and check out Foodie, Foodee, our resident nutritionist. She has some great ideas for different ways to get vegetables into your children's diets, and it's fantastic. I'll tag Foodie in this. But just try and sauces. Sauces is always the easiest way to do it, and see how you get on. And look up different recipes for different types of sauces and see which one works. That way they're going to get the vegetables that you want them to get without them even knowing about it. And who knows, maybe in a year's time, your child may be eating vegetables left, right and centre. Okay. Last one for today. Do you offer a detox program for after the kids have been on vacation with their grandparents for a week? Something that brings sugar levels back to normal range and removes the glazed look from their eyes due to all the screen time. I think we've discussed grandparents in the past. If you have any grandparents watching this, grandparents, please stop giving the kids so much sugar. I know they're only with you for a short space of time maybe, but that doesn't mean that you just give them as much sugar as they need. Take responsibility, and just because you couldn't do it for your own child doesn't mean you have to go over the top with your grandchildren. Their parents need you to actually stop and think about the long-term impact as well as the short-term, where you are getting a child back as a parent. Maybe you've been away, or maybe you've been working and you're tired, and you're getting this child who is literally hyped up on sugar. Grandparents, please stop. And also with the screen time, try and put some sort of boundaries in place for the screen time. Right. As a parent, unfortunately our detox program for sugar and screen is not fully developed yet, but we're getting there. It's going to be close, hopefully soon, maybe. Or maybe we'll just do a program for all the grandparents out there who need a good, gentle reminder about the needs of a child. What I'd say is, you need to be strong as a parent, right? So yes, you're going to have to deal with crabbiness, you're going to have to deal with hyperness, you're going to have to deal with complaints, and well, Nana and Grandad let us do this, that and the other. But you need to try and put the boundaries in place as quickly as possible when they come back. So get your normal routine going as soon as possible. They will get into it quicker than you think. There will be arguments, there will be discussions and maybe fights about it, but they will do it. And I would say kids are more adaptable than adults. It's always the way. They'll come on board much quicker than adults. Hope that's of some help. Grandparents, stop. Anyway, guys, that's it for this week. I hope you all have a wonderful week. We are having an unbelievable summer in Ireland here. The weather has been pretty much amazing since the start of May, with the odd couple of days here. We're due to hit, I think, 25, 26, 27 degrees here this week, maybe today or tomorrow. This never happens. We're enjoying it. We can officially say we've had a summer. Until next week, guys, take care of yourselves. See you.